Hi everyone. I don't know if this is live. Hi everyone. Such a pleasure to be doing this today. Hi Omkar, what's up? Hi Vinay. Hi Akriti. Hi Niharika. Hi Rahul. How's it going? Hi Prateek. Hi Tushar. Hi Tushar. I'm good. How are you? Hi Panchal. So this is the first time that I'm doing something like this, so please forgive me for any kinds of mistakes that happened. I just wanted to give that disclaimer. Oh, Omkar, it's not my birthday just yet. There is a little bit of time for that to happen. um, so yeah, I'm just waiting for Stephanie to join us. The moment she does that, we can start with the content that I have. Um, how are you all doing? I would love to get to know how quarantine is treating you all. Hi, Shruti. Hi, Michael. It's so good to have you all out here. I would love to know how quarantine is treating you all. It's been a nightmare for me, actually speaking. I've never been locked up in a. I know, right, Tashar? I swear, it's been so long since I've been locked up in this house that I've forgotten what outside world looks like, even. We're gonna talk about perfectionism, Akriti. I thought that the title would be visible to you, but I'll just pin a post right now. Perfectionism 101. So I wanted to. Let me see if I can pin that. There's no way of doing that. Alright. So I wanted to get on a live and talk to you about perfectionism, considering how Kind Kanya's theme this month has been about perfectionism, and I've been putting out this content on perfectionism for quite some time now. And actually, what happened was, in the middle of me searching for ways to cope with anxiety and all kinds of mental health related things, I have seen that I started meeting people who were relevant to this, who were sharing the same kind of passion in mental health like I was. And that's how I crossed paths with Stephanie. She's from the UK. And I found her profile. Actually, she reached out to me after reading one of the posts that I have done on perfectionism, I think, or maybe anxiety. I don't remember right now. And so she reached out to me, and it has been a good friendship since then. And we've been talking and talking, and one thing led to the other. And then slowly we started realizing that this is something that both of us have been dealing with for the longest time in our life. And so I said, why not talk about this? Because the more I've started opening up about topics like this, I've started realizing that there are a lot of people that are going through the same thing, but they don't know how to voice it out, and they don't know how to talk about it. So in my journey, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to help even that tiny little bit also. No, I just wanted to be there. So I was so happy to see that Stephanie shared the same interest and the same passion as me. And yeah, so that's how we decided to do this. Hi Shreya, hi Gloria, hi Anamika, hi Upasna. It's so good to have all of you here. Yeah, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm still waiting for Stephanie. There's some sort of network issue, I think, on her end. I hope it resolves soon. Thank you, Rebu. I've worked a little too less on it, honestly. But thank you so much. Yaya Vibhol. Yes, hi Yaya. How are you? What's new? What's new? It's so good to be able to catch up like this. I think we should be doing lives a little often than I do currently. Yeah. So, yeah, that was about Stephanie. I think while we wait, thank you so much, Vinay. So good to hear you say that. Hi, Shreyasi. Hi, Rohan. So lovely for all of you to show up. Hi. Hi, Mayank. Hi, Kunal. How's it going? So good to have you all. You have made my evening. I don't know, there's some issue with Stephanie's network, I believe, and that is why I'm still waiting here. While I have you here, why not I introduce myself? Hi, Mickey. So, yeah. So, for those of you that don't know this side of my story, because this is something that I have not been very upfront and public about, I just tell people bits and pieces about how I got to where I am today. But for those of you that don't know this side of my story, I would like to open up this dialogue basically. 20 years ago, I was in a car accident with my father and my sister. It's something that was very traumatic because I was just 6 years old at the time. And it was really scary because we were coming back from an event and we were headed home, and this car crash happened. And suddenly I was in this position where I was the only one awake, my sister was on the other side of the road, and she had this massive injuries, and then my dad was dead on the spot. So that was real big, a big event in my life, which still gives me the jitters when I think about it. But yeah, because of that, what happened was that I ended up developing PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and we weren't really talking about all this in our family because who expects a 6-year-old to really remember what they have gone through, right? So my mom also thought that she must have forgotten about this, and nobody really took. And for those of you that know me, you know that I keep laughing around so much, and I never show that, there are so many things going on within my head. And it was like a big news to my friends, even when they came to know that I was suffering with depression all my life and anxiety all my life. Truth be told, it was a big, what do you call that? It was news to me even because at the age of 25 was when I had this big time mental breakdown. And I reached out to a therapist, and one thing led to the other. And that's when I realized that all my life, this thing that I was calling that I'm afraid, or, my heart is racing and I'm feeling scared and all, it had a term, people called it anxiety. And so it was at the age of 25 that I realized that I've been having panic attacks all my life. And it was at the age of 25 that I realized that this is called generalized anxiety disorder. And so that's when I realized that there are a lot of people, even amongst my friends, who don't know much about mental health, because in India generally we don't really talk about these kind of things, right? It is something, I think, as a culture, Indian culture itself is, like, we don't show people our negative sides. We are always putting our best foot forward, and we're always being brave in front of people. We're always laughing and making the other people comfortable around us. So we don't want to burden them, so to speak, with our stresses and issues. And I think that is how you start feeling lonely and isolated and cut off from the society, which is very sad also. But that's the truth of it. So that is what led me to create Kind Kanya. And it was the most difficult choice in my life because I was a person that was really private about all these kind of things up until 25 years of age. And suddenly I'm in this position where I was like, I need to talk about this and I need to reach out to as many people as possible. Now the problem comes when I start talking about all these things. How do I open up about this, I'm a perfectionist. How do I show people that this is my flaw? How do I show people I have created a life around being strong, around, I have created my life wherein I was showing people that I am Miss Independent, like I don't need anyone, I don't need anything. And here I am trying to open up about my issues. So it was really challenging about that. But you know what kept me going is people like you. All of y'all who have joined today for the live, all of y'all have personally given me comments about how my posts have been helping you. And that is what keeps me going. And that is what keeps me motivated to share more about myself, because, not just that when I do it, I feel like I'm being heard, but I also feel like, I'm not alone in this struggle. So you guys are helping me just as much as I'm helping you. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, Omkar. Hi, Krisma. Hi, Arya. Hi, everyone. Hi, Anjana. You guys are still joining. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to see all of y'all. I don't know why I'm not able to see Stephanie. It's been so not like her. So yeah, I think we will wait for another 5 or 10 minutes, after which I think I would have to take lead, and I've not prepared for that. But anyways, we'll do the best with what we are given, right? So tell me something about what is happening with you guys. I would love to know that. Yeah? No problem, I can make you laugh. Yes, yeah, I need you to make me laugh right now. Help me calm down the nerves a little. Hi Rakesh, how's it going? Thank you, Rakesh. So sweet of you to say that. How just tell me one thing. How is it that you guys are coping with the quarantine? Like, I really need tips and tricks right now. I'm really looking forward to, because watching Grey's Anatomy most of the time, I cannot continue with that. It's not helping me so much. Yeah, Tushar, I absolutely agree with you. Yaya can make a corpse laugh. I think Yaya should start throwing in all his jokes right now so that people are also entertained a little bit. You know what would really help me is if you could send a thumbs up sticker if you are someone who deals with the negative side of perfectionism. If you think perfectionism is affecting your mental health, I would really appreciate you giving a thumbs up sticker so that I know that how many people I am actually personally talking to about this. Watch One Punch Man. Okay, where is that on? Hi Tushar, thank you for your candor. Hi Omkar, thank you for your candor. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait. Thank you, Akriti. So then I'm pretty sure we all have got, thank you, Arya. We've got a lot of good content that I have prepared for perfectionism. Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Yahya. Yeah. Thanks, Shresi. You know what, guys? Shresi, her @handle is Drink Your Anxiety. You should definitely check out her account. She is also someone that has been suffering with generalized anxiety disorder. And Shresi and I would be doing another collab, similar sort of live, which was supposed to happen with Stephanie soon. So we are excited about that. Thank you, Krit. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Anamika. Thank you for letting me know that you guys are dealing with the same thing as well. I think I'm just going to start off with the content that I have with me, and whenever Stephanie joins us, we will take it from there. All right. So, just so that you're prepared now, I've got it all written down. I am prepared for this stuff today. All right. So, when I went to Google what perfectionism is, this is the technical definition, so I don't want to mince my words. And so I'm going to give you the technical definition. Please do not get scared, okay? Hang on with me for a minute. So Google says, Wikipedia says that perfectionism is a personality trait characterized by a person's striving for flawlessness and setting high performance standards, accompanied by critical self-evaluations and concerns regarding others' evaluations. So, if you didn't understand that technical thing, पूरा homework करके बैठी है. हाँ, I tried my best. Yeah, I don't want to call you for a live and then put up some shoddy show, you know. So, anyways, so for that definition to be humanized, this is how perfectionism would affect me. I, for example, have to write a post for Kind Kanya, okay? I write 4 lines, but it takes me 30 minutes because I write, I delete, I write, I delete, I write, I delete, and the cycle continues on for 30 minutes just because I think, no, this is not good enough, I can do better, this is not good enough, I can do better. All the while, I have not set a standard about what better actually is, and I have not set an expectation as to where I need to be reaching, you know. So that how it turns out is, after those 30 minutes are up, I am left with 4 lines. I look at those 4 lines and then I start feeling guilty, saying that, oh my god, I wasted 30 minutes for just 4 lines. This is what it has come to for somebody who knows English, for somebody who knows how to write, for somebody who knows how to communicate. So you see, the guilt cycle starts turning into a shame cycle. So this is the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is when I know that, oh, it took me 30 minutes to do something so trivial, that my focus is on what has not been done. That is giving me guilt. Whereas shame, on the other hand, is, oh, I am a loser because I cannot do this. You know, shame is when I internalize it. That is the difference between guilt and shame. And unfortunately, what happens is, during perfectionism, you end up being someone who shames yourself. You do not just be guilty about not doing things right, but your inner critic starts playing this role, saying that you are not good enough. Somebody else is much better than you, and you are not, you know, why are you overachieving about all these things? Why are you thinking so much? Any which ways you're not going to be able to perform. So why do you want to even try? It's better not to try. So I think this happened with me during, so I finished my graduation in hospitality management, and I have decided that that is not the career that I wanted to do, because in my 3rd year of hospitality management, I came across marketing, and I wanted to do more work in marketing. So I wanted to do an MBA, and I knew how difficult CAT as an exam is. So I started having my panic attacks because my perfectionism started acting up. I was prepared, but it was just that I was really nervous. And this inner critic within me started telling me these stories, saying that, no, Risha, you are not, how can you clear CAT? Yeah, it is for somebody who has gotten 98%, 99 point something. That is the cutoff limit for CAT, and here you have only gotten what, 87% in your 12th. How are you even going to do this? You know, you start internalizing, and then that shame comes in, to the point where I didn't give my CAT. Just because of this, you know, on the exam date, I was not just ready to go and give the exam. I just didn't go inside the gate. I didn't go to the institute where I had to go to write the exam. That's what perfectionism does. So, now that we have clarified what it is, let us just break it down into the positives and the negatives. But before I do that, I just wanted to check in. Is everyone on page with me? Like, am I going too fast, or should I give another example to help things? How's it like? Yay, I see a lot of hearts. Thank you. Okay. All right. Exactly, hypercritical thinking. And man, the hypercritical thinking is going to throw you off. Yeah, oh, I know the extent we can go to avoid a situation because of what goes on in a absolutely Shreyasi. So yeah, thank you, Tejas, for that. It is really comforting. So let's talk about the positives of perfectionism. So I'm sure a lot of you will know the positives, and everyone's aiming for perfectionism because right from young age, our mothers, our teachers, and everybody is like, पड़ोस का बेटे को देखा, उनके बेटे को देखा, they are getting so high marks, why can't you also sit and study, why can't you do this, why can't you do that? And there's this comparison that comes in, because of which you're like, oh, we're not good enough as we are, we need to do more. And then the teachers will be like, are nithalle, nalayak, and all the other swear words that I'm sure a lot of you, just as me, if you were a backbencher like me, you would have definitely heard about all of these. So, exactly, Sharma ji ke bete ko dekho and all. It's so true, man. And so what happens is perfectionism does have good points, It does make you a high achiever. It also makes you an overachiever because it pushes you. It gives you a drive for you to move forward and be better than you were yesterday. And that's always good, right? So it is great at, you become really great at catching errors. You become very attentive to details. You have this high standard that you do not take subpar work or shoddy work. So you are like the prime example if you are a perfectionist. So these are the positives, of course. But today, you know what? I wanted to talk only about the negatives because this is something that it has affected me a lot, and through this live you will hear a lot of stories on how it has affected me. But also I feel like the negatives are not spoken about too much, so I think we should get into the negatives because of that reason. So yeah, so the negative aspects of perfectionism are you end up setting unrealistic, unattainable goals or standards. I will tell you this example of mine. When I got around some 90% in 10th. It was CGPA during my time, so it was CGPA of 9. So 9 point something, I think, I don't know. So in my head, it was like 11th standard, I'm taking biology and I need to do better. I've already gotten 90%, so I know I can give like anything short of 90% is bad. And that puts in so much of pressure, and people who have given examinations, you all know the kind of pressure there is when it comes to 10th and 12th boards. And already I've set myself up ki, I have received 90% of marks, now I need to be above 90%, nothing below it would do. So there's this fear setting in, there's this anxiety setting in, there's this unnecessary stress that is setting in, Also, there is a depression setting in, because what happens is you open the book and because of your anxiety, you're not able to memorize whatever is there in front of you. So immediately you go to, maybe my teacher was right. Maybe I'm not meant for this kind of stuff. Maybe I'm a failure. Maybe I will fail. And it's not even maybe at this point. Eventually, if you start listening to that inner dialogue, you will come to a position where it will be like, I've had nightmares, right before my board exams, pre-boards even, I've had nightmares where I'm sitting in the exam room and I have got the list of questions, all of the questions that I could not solve in my textbooks, all of them are supposedly memorized in my brain, and it comes up, okay, in that dream, and I see that I have these questions, I don't know what to do, and 2.5 hours, 3 hours, whatever was the test timing, that's just running, and at the last minute I'm still like pulling the answer sheet from the teacher saying that no, please give me back my answer sheet, I haven't written anything. That's the level of stress that comes in. Now what happens is, as I said, the inner critic keeps talking, chattering, saying that you're not good enough, you're going to fail, look at this, look at that. You go into a depression cycle and you become depressed because of that inner critic that is there. So this is another negative aspect of perfectionism. Another thing is, you don't take risks. If you are a perfectionist and your perfectionistic traits are affecting you, you do not take risk. You want to know at least you will take calculated risk at the worst case scenario. You know that there is no chance for failure. That would be some situation that you would be ready and willing to put your foot into, but otherwise you won't take risks. I don't know what kind of an example to give you other than I think my cat example would be the same. I didn't take the risk of writing the exam because I knew that I might fail. I didn't even try. So I didn't take risk only, you know. Then people pleasing. People pleasing is a major point of perfectionism. One of the reason why we tend to resort to perfectionism is because of people pleasing. Now this happens because at a very young age, we were taught to be prim and proper in front of the society. We were taught to be nothing short of perfect in front of the society. As young children, if they make a lot of noise, what is it that the parents will first do? They will whack the kid and say, shh, you will not make noise in the market. You will not do this. No one explains why it is that, you're training this, or why it is that you're doing that. So in a child's mind, it is like, I need to show to others that I am perfect. Hi, Cheta, thank you for joining. So yeah, now that kind of starts snowballing into other areas of your life as well. How do I put it across? Even in relationships also, me and my sister, we used to fight a lot growing up. But to the world, it seemed like we were the perfect siblings, So this people-pleasing tendency will keep us stuck in the perfection cycle. You will do everything in your power to please people, and you will think that if I am perfect enough, they will like me back. If I am perfect enough. Hi, Stephanie! Thank you so much for coming. You've saved me. I'm gonna join you in the live real soon. Just a minute. Yes.
Hey,
hi, Stephanie. I was just telling everyone that, there must have been some sort of a network problem. But then since everyone started coming in, I was like, I need to start or do something. And I just started.
Okay, we're all good. We're all good.
Yeah, so we were in the midst of what, according to you, are the negative aspects of perfectionism. And I was just talking about people pleasing being one of the effects of perfectionism, how it is like a cycle. You need to please people. And so you resort to perfectionism, thinking that if I am perfect enough, they would love me back. Or if I am perfect enough, they would accept me back. And then you're again stuck in the same cycle. What is your take on this?
My take on pleasing people is that it's so important to be your authentic self. It's so important to live by your values, be who you are, and to get real friendships. Because otherwise, they're fake friendships. Your friends don't actually be friends with the actual you, and it will have no kind of substance to it. So that's something that I've tried to live by a lot. Like in the past, I used to worry about sending a risky text or being kind of honest and upfront with my friends about how I felt, or going to every single event, for example, to kind of be the perfect friend that no one would want to ever get rid of. But I kind of realized that I wasn't being myself. I was just being like this other person who tried to become a perfect friend, and it got really tiring as well. I just decided, as well, that they would respect me more for being myself and living by my values. And basically that's my story.
That's great. And so for everyone who were asking who Steph is, I think it is best that you introduce yourself. Okay. I've not done justice to introducing you, so I think you should introduce yourself to everyone. Yeah.
So first of all, hi everyone who said hi Steph. Yeah, basically I have an Instagram account at Positive Steph. Feel free to follow me. So I'm from the UK, so me and Risha live worlds apart basically, but we connected on here. Yeah, I'm from like a sunny seaside town, kind of in the UK, and currently I live in a city close by. And I do marketing in my spare time, and I'm quite arty, just to give you a bit more background info. And yeah, that's a quick snapshot. And basically, I'm passionate about well-being and mental health and positivity, and because I've suffered with various anxiety issues in my life, and I've taken various efforts to improve that and manage that, and yeah.
Yeah. So I
What
was
about
just telling, I think it was even on my stories, when I was talking about you, the one thing that I really like about the account that you have started on Instagram is like, it almost feels like, a 1 minute pick me up for your day. Because for me,
oh,
the moment I think you post during night time, I don't know when you post, but for me, it shows up like the first thing in the morning when I wake up.
oh.
So for me, when I see a post, I'm like, oh, I've gotten my motivation for the day, and now I can look forward to the rest of my day. So I start my day good when I look at your posts. So
Oh, I
that's what
really
drew me
appreciate
to
that.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I started the account really, just to help other people through the lessons that I've learned and the coping skills that I use and the management tools that I use. I don't know if anyone's noticed, I've actually been a bit absent on my Instagram recently. I just thought I'd quickly bring that up. Basically, I just think it's important as well to just reiterate that we're only human, like we're all human, and we have many things going on in our lives. Like for example, I have work stresses, like people have work family stresses, people have friendship stresses, people have money stresses, and sometimes you just can't do everything. And I haven't had the capacity to manage my Instagram recently, and I own up to it. And I'm sticking by this notion of not being a perfectionist. I'm not trying to do my best on it because I can't, and I'm not
Yeah.
forcing myself. I'm taking a break, and sometimes it's so important to take a break from an aspect that you just can't deal with. It's okay to have a
Absolutely.
week break from talking to friends. It's okay to have a week holiday off work, even in a very stressful period. It's okay to not manage your Instagram, even though your followers rely on you, because you are what's important. But anyway, quick
No, I
rant.
think I agree with you in that, I think that this digital era has taken up so much of our mind space. And I think there was some sort of research also that has been done in this. One of the key causes for our anxiety is because of this constant notification being pushed up and all, So it's just, we're stuck in that rut. And so mindfulness and just, as you said, being able to take a breath and just relax for a minute, that itself becomes like the current currency, for our sanity. So,
Exactly, exactly.
yeah,
And yeah, I just think we have such high expectations for ourselves. And
yeah.
again, perfectionism is such a relevant discussion, really. But yeah, I just think we have high expectations in every aspect of our lives, and sometimes it's okay to, as I said, yeah, be human and just put things on pause.
Yeah. Hi, Symbol and Thread. Thank you for
Yay!
joining
That's
us.
my friend from back home.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi from Mumbai. All right. So I just wanted to reiterate that we will be taking questions towards the end. So please stay tuned.
Yeah.
And while I still have you right now, so in your opinion, Stephanie, what do you think has caused perfectionism for you or in you?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
In your opinion, what has caused you to be a perfectionist?
I think that is a really difficult one. It's a very personal question, but I'm very happy to share that with you. I think the parental kind of aspect of your life has a massive impact on perfectionism if your parents set high standards for you, if your parents have been very successful themselves and you compare yourself to your parents, and also kind of I think a sibling relationship as well, like if you have brothers or sisters that maybe have been very successful at great achievements. So yeah, the kind of the family upbringing, yeah, I think that is a major influence, and that was a major influence for me. Kind of was brought up in a way that I should be the best if I can, like, and I should always work hard and kind of be resilient in every aspect of my life and just go for everything. And I think I've really kind of stuck with that mentality, like to achieve and to try and aim for the best if it is within reach. And yeah, I think that's played a massive part, really. What about you?
I think you've touched base on basically all the points. Even I come from a family where everyone's like a high achiever. And so
Yeah.
I have that standard that I need to match up to. And then my sister is a very hard worker. And I'm someone who, like, I'm going to push the work till the very end, till I have enough anxiety to drive me.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, but I think another part for me, which played a crucial role in my life for me to become a perfectionist was my church, even. Uh, I think somewhere in Corinthians, Paul says that you should not be an also ran when you run the marathon of life.
Okay.
Run in such a way that you end up winning the prize. So I think the church kind of reiterated that, in every area of your life, you need to be the first. So in my head, how
Interesting.
it translated to was you're either the first or you're nothing. And then we had other movies and everything else that kind of reinforced that belief, saying that, you know how the common saying goes that who remembers the second man who landed on the moon? Everyone
Yeah.
remembers Neil
Yeah, of
that
course.
way. So I think those things just reinforce this belief system or this story that I am not good enough as I am, and I
Yeah.
need to be better. And that's how I came up to, like wanting to perform to be better and wanting to be
Of course.
perfectionist in the sense that if I don't make mistakes, no one will catch my mistakes, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I completely understand
Ranjit
that. So,
said such nonsense. Yeah, I'm sure that the Bible didn't mean that. I don't mean to insult anyone. Please understand that I have utmost respect for all religions, but it's just that this is how I was internalizing the message that was told from the podium. So it's probably my fault at the end of the day. But either way, this is how I grew up. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you. I'm really sorry for that.
well, we've had some
Anyway,
really lovely comments as well. So thank you for everyone who's enjoyed the session so far, like Hazel.
yeah.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
Misha, I'd say we've obviously had very similar experiences then growing up, and sibling relationships and parental relationships have had yeah, a huge impact. And it's very interesting as well that religion has had that impact on you. And personally as well, I think probably we're like, everyone is different fundamentally. Some people are more laid back, some people are more driven, some people are more hardworking, and I think it is
Yeah.
in our like genetic code. And that probably has had an influence as well. It's like other people might have received that message from church and taken it in a different way.
Yeah.
That's another idea, but yeah, I think it's just a mixture of things, really.
Yeah. A lot of it, I agree with your point. I don't have anything else to add. I think you have done a fabulous job in uh, bringing that together. Uh, so, yeah, Steph, how do you think that perfectionism manifests in our lives? I
Okay.
think you can put it, personally in your life, how does it manifest? And then I'll tell how it
Okay.
manifests in my
Yeah.
life.
So this is a really interesting question for me. Um, I think that perfectionism sadly manifests in most areas of life, unfortunately, pretty much in every area of life,
Yeah.
because in every area of life you have the potential to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
So I
Absolutely.
think, well, for me, it manifests at work, to
Hmm.
be as organized as I can, to
Hmm.
deliver as well as I can, get high results, get high attention to detail, just kind of like the best I can be in every aspect. I think it manifests as well, maybe with friendships, interestingly.
Absolutely.
As we mentioned before, even though it's something that I have worked on, I still aim to be like the best friend I can be, and be as helpful as I can be and as kind as I can be. And I'm really trying to be as authentic as possible, but there's still that part of me that wants to please my friends. In other aspects, for example, in like, I guess, how I look after my house and how I present myself, I probably have too high standards as well, and probably I don't know, slightly blame myself if my house is like in a mess. So I think I could go on and on and on about what areas of my life perfectionism manifests in, but the answer is it manifests in every area possible that I have the ability to be my best. So yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I think as I was hearing you tell about all these things, it was kind of reassuring for me that I'm not the only one. So I'm pretty sure that, this is what a lot of other people also feel, wherein, see, for me, my perfectionism, again, as you said, it branched out into every area possible within friends, as you pointed out, within the relationship with my mother, even, I wanted to be a perfect daughter so that I had an assumption in my head. It was nothing that my mom did to tell me that I was bad, or, to tell me that I was not good enough or anything like that. But it was just that, I thought that if I was a good daughter, then she would love me more, or she would actually, I need to give a little bit of a background out here. So, my mom, I have a working mom, and she has a very demanding career. So, what happens is while growing up, when we see this as young children, when she comes back tired from home, she'll see that, oh, you've made your bed. Oh, really good, Risha. That's really good job. So, I got a positive affirmation out there. But then if the house was a little shoddy and she comes home after a tiring day at work and she comes home to a shitty house, of course you would be like, you were sitting at home all day, you could have cleaned the house, you could have kept it properly. This is not what girls do and all that. So it was not that she intended to do anything, but it was just that I internalized the message as if I clean my room, if I do something more, I can get her love, I can get her appreciation, something that I internalized. So yeah, so that was there also. And again, as we've already spoken about this, the anxiety, the depression, the OCD that comes with this, that you need everything to be so meticulous.
Yeah,
I know of a friend who is, I think we can classify him into the OCPD category because it's like my way or the highway. I cannot tolerate anything that is out of order from my checklist that I have created.
Yeah.
And I think that in certain areas, even I kind of reflect that. Unfortunately, I don't intend to, but it's like, for example, at work, uh, somebody does the job, I'll be like, oh, I could have done it 10 times better. Why are they getting praised for that? They should not get praised for that. Because I am not used to getting praised for myself for the work that I have done. So I am, very judgmental towards others. So yeah, it's like it kind of isolates you eventually if you allow it to.
Yeah.
I feel perfectionism.
Yeah,
No?
like you've touched on lots of different points there, really. Yeah, you've talked about your positive reinforcement when you were younger, and like associating an outcome with an action that you do. And I guess you've had this ingrained in you that if you do A, B will happen, and you're so scared about B happening that you have to do A right. And that it also manifests into OCD behavior as well, having to do something a certain way, or this outcome could happen. And yeah, it's very interesting. I think a lot of perfectionism is associating what you do with the outcome. So for me, with work, the outcome would be losing my job, and with friends, outcome would be losing my friends. And I think we always do things while thinking about the worst case scenario and the consequence,
Yeah.
and we kind of exasperate that consequence, and we think it's like certain, or it's much more likely than it is, and that causes
Yeah.
us to do A in the best way we can, which tires us out and has all the problems we'll talk about later. But yeah, I think that's very interesting, and it's basically trying to let go of the end result that we're worried about happening, and just kind of reevaluating like the likelihood of that happening. Like, if you send that risky text, is your friend really going to drop you? And if they do drop you, are they a good friend anyway?
I
Do you
know.
really want them? And if work does let you go, are they really worth having? Like, are they respectful managers? Like, do they really value you? And like, just think
Yeah.
about all like the achievements that you've done, I've done. Like, are they really going to let you go if you get that figure wrong on that report? Probably not. So it's just, again, like reassessing the outcome, I think, and that's a big part of tackling perfectionism, which again we'll talk about later.
Absolutely. And I think it's very interesting that now that you've pointed out, the focus being on the end result, we forget about the journey or the process of how we need to go there. So we're practically like stunting our learning, essentially, any
Yes.
kind of situation that we could have learned from. We are stunting that growth just because we're so focused on a negative outcome, not as you very rightly pointed out, not even a positive outcome. We never imagine that the things that we're going to do is going to turn out perfectly. We're always going to look at the. And I think
Exactly.
another thing that I'm so sorry for cutting you off.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you.
So one more thing that I was reminded of is perfectionism also manifests in, at least for me, making me into a control freak to the point where I hate surprises, Stephanie. Like, you won't believe it. Somebody surprises me, and here's the dance that happens in my brain, okay? One side of me wants to people please. So if my friend or my sister or somebody has organized things, so say a surprise party for me also, I would be internally really furious because I'm trying to accommodate this scenario, firstly, because of my anxiety also. But secondly, because I have set standard of things that have to happen. That's why I don't like accepting gifts from people because I'm like, what if they give me a shoddy gift? It's so the focus turns away from the 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 brilliance or the kindness in gifting and accepting a gift, and it just moves towards a control freak, and I need this to happen, I need that to happen, and never really letting go and being present in the moment and enjoying life for what it is.
That sounds, really distressing, to be honest, and it does have a big impact on your life, because like life should involve surprises, life should involve gifts. Yeah, I guess with you, probably what you want to do is control every event and the way that it happens, how you are in that event, how well ready you are for that event. Maybe like if it's a surprise, like you might not be dressed in the outfit that you would have been dressed in.
Oh my God, yes.
It might not be the perfect day for you. You might be in a bad mood. Like, perfectionists want to orchestrate the ideal version of everything, and anything that comes out of the blue kind of disrupts that, doesn't allow you to manage it to be in that perfect form. So I don't really know how you can get around that. I personally, if that was me, I'd probably just think about the impact it's going to have on my life if I am that way. Like,
awareness.
And that would it would also affect your friendships and your relationships as well, because people should be able to do nice things for you, and you deserve nice things to happen, like surprises and gifts. And I would just like shift your mentality to think about like what you could like lose out on by being that way, and like potentially, I don't know.
You miss out a lot, and the strain that it puts on your mind.
It's
tremendous.
I guess you just have to be more in the moment, and maybe just trying to shift this perspective again. Like, try and like maybe just be grateful for everything. Just think of it in a good way. Like, wow, like a surprise. Like, oh, that friend must I must mean a lot to that friend, and how kind of them to do that for me. And just kind of shift the way that you that you receive those things, think of it as such a blessing to have those, rather than think, oh God, like I'm really not prepared for this, or God, like I wouldn't have chosen this. Just try and think of it as like, wow, like that, yeah, that is so kind. And
Yeah, I
how
think you're
lucky
right
am I?
because, sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I finished.
No, I was telling you're right because in therapy, when I brought this up, this is what my therapist said, maintain a gratitude journal. And it has tremendously helped in taking away this control freak kind of habit that I had, because okay, so this is my experience with having a gratitude journal. The first day I was like, I don't have anything to be thankful for. I don't have anything to be grateful for.
Wow,
And
interesting.
I literally had to write things like, I'm thankful for living, I guess. I'm thankful for having food, I guess.
Wow, okay, so
I
basic.
literally wrote down, I guess.
Wow, right. That's very
As
interesting.
days, yeah, but as days went on, I had to. So my therapist told me this very clearly. She was like, 30 days, there is no excuse. Every day you are going to write 5 things that you're grateful for. And so, Stephanie, you won't believe, like, I think 5 days I was just writing, I guess I'm grateful for being alive. I guess I'm grateful I got good sleep. But then
Wow.
from the sixth and seventh day onwards, I was not able to fit in the amount of things that I was grateful for within that slot that I have made.
So
And it
interesting.
made such a big difference in life because gratitude also brings in this mindfulness, of being aware
Yes,
of the moment, of being present
absolutely.
in the moment. Yeah,
Absolutely. It shifts your mindset from feeling negative to feeling like positive, because basically I think when I'm in a bad mood, or I'm happy, or I'm anxious, I can only see the negative things that are happening in my life. And
yeah,
like if I've got an exam that I maybe didn't do well on, I would only be thinking about that exam, and my mind would
yeah,
just be like, exam. Whereas if you do a gratitude journal,
yeah.
you remember all of the good
I get
things.
that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I have yes, I haven't done well on an exam, but think about all of these things that I do have. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a brilliant thing to do, and can completely shift your mindset.
Yeah. I think we should start accepting questions from people. So I encourage you guys, all of you who are watching, if you have questions that you want to ask us, please use that icon of a question mark that you see on your screen right next to the comment section. Please post in your questions, and as I get notified, we will address those questions one by one. And while I have them typing the questions, I think this is a good time for us to discuss about the perfectionism and procrastination cycle, don't you think?
Absolutely,
What is your
absolutely.
take on that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's something that we I think briefly touched on earlier. Um, But even though perfectionism, the idea behind it is getting everything right and being perfect, it actually causes procrastination in most people. And procrastination is when you leave things till late and you put things off. And basically, yeah, the way it works is, I want to do really well in this essay, and then I wait until a time I'm feeling in the right mindset to do this essay, waiting to the day that I've had the perfect amount of sleep, waiting to the day that I feel great, good of ideas, so I can do a perfect
mm,
job. And then waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting until that time that I feel like ready. And then, it's the last day before it's due. Like that kind of thing happening.
yeah,
And yeah, I think, yeah, and then when that happens, I have a day to do my essay, and I'm even more stressed out. I haven't had the time to go back the next day because I've only got one day and check it, and basically I'm just all completely stressed. Whereas what I could have done is on the first day I could have done a plan, and then the second day I could have started, even though I might have been a bit tired, and then the next day do a bit more, a bit more, and just think like, yeah, just get on with it. Basically, get on with it, because yeah, like, because otherwise you are kind of digging yourself a massive hole and making the problem worse. you don't have as much time to allocate it. You put yourself in a position where you can't check things. And yeah, I think that's happened to me in so many aspects of my life, where I've waited until a perfect moment or a perfect time or a perfect mindset to do something. And it's caused me a lot more problems, basically.
Absolutely, I agree with you out there, you know. But retrospectively, everything makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
if only I wish I would have started a little sooner. But then, as you pointed out, the anxiety towards the end, that build up, it just gets to you. I
Yeah.
think we've got two questions out here. One is, what is the difference between perfectionism and dignity of labor, which is very interesting in my point of.
Do you want to answer
Okay,
that one?
I'm sorry.
Do you want to answer that one?
Okay, so I'm guessing out here by dignity of labor, you mean how, if you are not allowing perfectionism to run your life, how do you put across a good work or, you know, a great work? I think this is what you are referring to, Ranjit. And then I think to answer that, if you take a look at the world's best leaders, I wouldn't call them perfectionists. And I think that a lot of people have also pointed this out, wherein they say that this is something that they also deal with, like, you know, not to allow perfectionism to get to them. Because perfectionism, as we mentioned in the start of the video, kind of tends to pull you down and not get the work done. As a leader, for example, at a high post, perfectionism would not allow you to take risks because you are so afraid of failure that you're not going to take a risk. That being said, when we say that not to allow perfectionism to dictate your life, I am not saying that you should now become complacent and just, you know, throw your hands up in the air and just let go of everything. What I'm saying is you can measure the true goals, you know, because again, as we said about perfectionism, what happens is that you tend to have an unrealistic expectation of yourself. That you can break down and bring it into a realistic expectation. And you should always push yourself forward, but not allow perfectionism to give you the anxiety which would eventually, you know, lead you to have a bad quality of life because of your mental health not being in order. So I think the distinction that I'm trying to make is, don't allow it to hamper your functionality in work, and always give your best, but then don't allow it to get to a point where you, there was this research that was done, for example, where university students were so scared of getting a B on their grade that they chose not to write or attempt the question paper. You know, they chose to get an F instead of a B. So that kind of perfectionism is where I am talking about, that you should not allow perfectionism to dictate your life into the ditches, you know. But there is, of course, the good side of perfectionism, the side that every surgeon or every architect, you know, who needs attention to details, who needs things to be
Yeah.
completed on time, that
Yeah.
no one's telling you to take that away. But yeah, Stephanie, please add to that.
I completely agree with everything you said, and me and Risha actually had a conversation about this earlier, interestingly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you. And should we move on to the next question?
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we'll go to the next question. Tushar asks, how can one be aware that perfectionism is affecting them adversely? Because this happens so unconsciously. I think that's a brilliant question that you have asked.
Shall I go with this one?
Yes, yes, please. I was about to give it to you. Yes.
Okay, so how do we know that perfectionism affects us? Oh, okay, let me just have a little think.
Yeah.
I think you'll know when perfectionism has hit you if you started to procrastinate, like I mentioned earlier. If you feel that you're leaving everything to last minute.
1 minute, Stephanie. 1 minute. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I just got a reminder that there are only 20 seconds remaining for this live. So if in case it gets cut off, we will do it again. So please just hold on. I will go back with another live right after this. Yeah, I think we should start with the answer to that question in the next live, right? There's just 5 seconds remaining.
All right. Bye, everyone.